Hey everybody, how's it going? My name's Keaton, and in this video we're going to go over why you can't seem to achieve what you want in life and how to fix it. This analogy, the elephant and the rider, is something that was shared with me by a mentor of mine that really helped me conceptualize and understand the idea behind the subconscious and the conscious mind and how we can leverage each of them to help us succeed. These are the same issues that helped me get over deep-rooted psychological issues and finally chase my dreams. Something I think 90% of people don't really understand is that there are two selves inside of them. Ray Dalio in his book Principles talks about these two selves as the two yous. Every person has a higher level you and a lower level you. Your lower level you is in charge of animal functions, things like keeping you alive, helping you reproduce, etc. But in trying to do those things, it usually ends up sabotaging you in other ways. This is the part of you that craves high-calorie foods, gets you to check and recheck social media multiple times a day, and it's the part of you that's responsible for when you do the exact thing you didn't want to do. The lower level you in this analogy is represented by the elephant. It's big, it's powerful, it's strong, and if left to its own devices, it can totally wreck you. Your higher level you is responsible for rational thought. It's the part of you that says, I should exercise more, or I should really start on that project now so that I don't have to cram for it later. A rider in this analogy is the higher level you. It's small, it's less powerful than the subconscious mind, but it has the power to control the subconscious mind if we play our cards right. There's also a third element in this analogy which is crucially important, and it's the path down which the elephant is walking. This path represents the environment in which your rider and elephant operate. There are three super actionable ways to apply this analogy to help you get what you want out of life. The first one pertains to the rider, and it's this: simply acknowledge and remind yourself that these two selves exist.
This practice alone will do wonders for you. You'll be able to see yourself in the third person. You'll recognize when your elephant is trying to take over and sabotage your higher level you. One thing I do to remind myself of this fact is put important principles that I want to remember on a note card somewhere where I will see them often. This way, when a problem arises, my rider is able to remember them easily and take control before my elephant goes crazy. The second one pertains to the elephant, subliminals. Once you understand these two separate parts of yourself, you'll start to notice small ways your elephant sabotages you. You sit down to work on a project and all of a sudden the only thing you want to do is check social media. You're on a sales call and instead of charging what you know you're worth, you drop the price so you can guarantee the sale. Everything we do wrong can be traced back to the rider not being in full control of the elephant. The problem is that most people's elephants are much too strong, and controlling them once they start down a path is nearly impossible. So the trick is getting to the elephant before it wants to go down that wrong path. And the best way to do this is through subliminals, or affirmations.
So the way I did this when I was first starting out was by recording a 10-minute voice recording of me addressing all the issues I had at the time. The biggest one I was facing is that I didn't feel in control of my own emotions. So my very first subliminal was this: I am in control of my own emotions. I choose to feel or not to feel, and I channel my emotions to control my destiny. I would listen to that every single day, and once I did it for 2 weeks, I really started to believe it, and it made a huge, huge difference in the way I saw the world and what I was able to do with my work. This let my elephant know that he wasn't going to be able to hijack my brain every time he wanted to, and that my rider was in charge. The third one pertains to the path, and it's this: environment design.
In his book Atomic Habits, James Clear says the following: self-control is a short-term strategy, not a long-term strategy. In other words, motivation is overrated, and oftentimes your environment matters more. If you make it as easy as possible for the elephant to walk down the path you want it to, you'll have much less chance of failure. This is the best way to help the elephant get into a routine of doing the right things every time. One thing I've started doing since I read Atomic Habits is plugging my phone in a different room when I go to bed. This way I'm much less tempted to check it when I first get up. It's helpful to think about this as clearing the path, or blocking the path, in advance, so your elephant has little choice but to follow the correct path when the time of decision comes. Make it difficult for your elephant to do what you don't want it to do, and easy for it to do what you do want it to do.
Anyway, I hope that helps. I heard once that self-awareness is the key to change. And if nothing else, this video will have given you a little bit more self-awareness. It's parted the curtain, so to speak, of what's going on in your subconscious mind in a simple and easy way to understand. And once we understand more or less what's going on in our subconscious mind, we can take control of the reins as the rider. Once we start taking those first steps toward our dreams, we can notice when the elephant starts to get tired, or notice its efforts to sabotage us before anything drastic happens. When we have enough self-awareness, we can tell our rider to stop for a second and put everything in order before we continue forward. One of the pieces of advice I've heard over and over again about dealing with the elephant effectively is treating it nicely. Instead of trying to force the elephant into submission overnight, we can take a step back and just let the growth happen. Eventually we can help groom the elephant into a tool and an asset that works for us instead of an inner saboteur. Saboteur?
Saboteur. Saboteur.
Saboteur. Thanks for watching.